Hello. I'm going to do another song of Flight of the Garuda, another one that Keith Dalman again has qualified as both introduction to the nature of mind and a pith instruction. As mentioned before, pith instructions are pithy oral instructions that guide your practice. So when you listen, you can also listen for practical things that when you do meditation should infuse that meditation. Okay, and this is an important one. If I summarize it, I'd say it's about the distinction between still mind and moving mind. But let's read first of all. Emma Hall, again, listen attentively. My noble sons and daughters, relax. This is Song 15, by the way. The non-duality of quiescence and movement, as I said. Again, my noble sons and daughters, relax. Let yourself be at rest in the free space of mind's original nature, and observe the quiescent state of mind. Gazing into the mind at rest, you abide in the infinite space of knowledge. Know, therefore, beloved children of my heart, that a quiescent mind is an empty mind in a state of knowledge. Of course, this is the experience of the mind in stillness, and it's one way to begin to look at the nature of mind. You know, we follow the breath, perhaps. We do little mantra practice of mind quietness. And as we look at mind, we look in with the mind's eye, we see that the mind is still. It's a very subtle state. I mean, you only know it by its absence of thought, of movement, or very, very little, very sort of background thought. So that's the mind in stillness. And we recognize that to be the nature of mind. As we look at it, there's nothing to look at. We look at it and we know it's invisible. It's like space. So we see this still, may experience pervasiveness and vastness, may not, but this still mind, that's what we see. That's the mind in stillness. Such is my introduction, initiating recognition of quiescence, which is stillness, as an adornment of mind, an adornment or a feature, a trait, a quality, even a decoration of mind. Then, as thought moves in the mind, observe how it is manifest. It moves not the slightest degree out of the space of empty and radiant knowledge. Now that's important. When thought comes up, we can consider, well, it's like a room, a space, and then the furniture, pieces of furniture in there. But when you look more deeply into the rising of thought, you see that it's space within the thought. It's pervaded by space. It arises from space, and it is space. It is made of space. So as they say, it's like the sun and its radiation. The nature mind is the sun, and the thoughts and the ideas and the appearances are its radiation. You don't have one without the other. So recognize as the thought comes up from the stillness that is of the nature of space. Know, therefore, that an active mind is still an empty mind in a state of knowledge. That's awareness. That's the capacity of the mind. Luminosity, they call it. Beloved sons and daughters, such is my introduction, initiating recognition of the movement of mind as its play. It is spontaneous play. It is as they say, the dance of Lila, the dance of Maya. It's often thought of as illusion or delusion, but in reality, the dance of Lila is just a creative dance of being. And thought and appearance are the creative dance of being when you allow them to arise and you leave the risings in the risings. No matter how large or violent the rolling wave, it cannot escape the ocean for a moment. In the same way, mind, passive or active, cannot escape knowledge, which could be awareness. Here we don't mean knowledge in terms of content, and emptiness to the slightest degree. In other words, the quality of the mind, again, they say it's it's cognitive and empty, luminosity and emptiness. Those are the two fused characteristics of mind. They're one. If it is quiescent, it is in a state of knowledge or awareness, so you can relax. If it is active, whatever arises is the radiant glow of knowledge itself. So again, relax. Again, it's like the sun and its radiation. Or as Trungpa used to say, Trungpa Rinpoche, radiation without a radiator. There's always a tendency to think, I'm in there radiating or something. Space radiation occurs, space, stillness, movement. Even the eye is a movement of the mind. So the mind is not in the eye is in the mind. The assertion that mind in quiescence is in meditation and that an active mind is out of meditation signifies failure to understand the inherent emptiness of both quiescence and activity, and it indicates that quiescent, movement, and knowledge or awareness, these three are not yet fused into one. Well, this is an advanced practice, is an advanced statement, because when we start, we're caught up in the mire of confusion, samsara, the blah, 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 the monkey mind. So we do shamatha. We breathe, and with the breath we breathe, and like Soja Rinpoche said, Chum Manyum Matam Sem Machunade. If just as water, when left alone, left undisturbed, settles and clears, dirty water, muddy water, you let it be, and the dirt settles to the bottom. It's not gone, but it settles to the bottom. The water is clear. In the same way, the mind, if not altered, becomes quiet, becomes clear. So when we do shamatha, when we start, we see the distinction there between monkey mind and silent mind, monkey mind, silent mind. And in a complete state of quiety, the mind is of shamatha, the mind is completely quiet. It can't. I remember when we used to do basic meditation seminars in Washington D.C., and I would meditate 6 hours, 8 hours. This incredible sense of stillness. I also experienced that doing hatha yoga, interestingly enough, which I had learned at the time. I do every day for 15-20 minutes, and become that stillness. Progressive relaxation training, it's called Jacobsonian relaxation, which is from the field of psychology, where you gradually contract and relax the muscles. You can get that kind of quietness, but then you make a distinction between quietness and stillness and movement. Stillness and movement. You think, movement is samsara. No, it's samsara when you get grabbed by the movement and you get carried along. If you allow the spaciousness, you be spacious, you leave the risings and the risings, like Dilgo Khyentse said. It is both mind and stillness and mind and movement. That's the second distinction made in the manuals of meditation, like clarifying the natural state, which we will discuss at some point. So therefore, best beloved sons and daughters of my heart, because quiescence and movement are both states of knowledge, and because in the past you have fully comprehended both these states separately, now in your existential practice you should condition yourself in the experience of quiescent movement and knowledge or awareness as one. Such is my introduction, initiating recognition of non-dual quiescence and movement. Alright, that's it for this one, and Tashida Lake.